Lil Durk is facing serious federal charges. I want to welcome y'all back to Podcast Talk. It's the LG Experience. I am your host, Mr. LG. Just subscribe to this channel. Click that like button. I want to thank y'all for joining me for another episode. And I want to dive into this rapper, Lil Durk. And when you're a Grammy Award winning rapper, you will make major headlines. And this is one of those trending stories that made major headlines when he got arrested. And it's interesting because there's a lot been going on surrounding this particular rapper. He's been around in the hip hop and street culture vlog. The vlog community has been covering this guy, and many predicted that he will get indicted at some point. You have investigative type bloggers out there that will stay on your tail and try to find out everything they can about you. Also, you have a large fan base. You have a lot of eyes on you. So people been watching this particular guy for the past couple of years, the past few years. There's a lot goes on, and these rappers or artists, they get caught up in stuff. So we want to dive into Lil Durk, and I want to give my thoughts on that as I give my commentary, as I follow trending stories, and I like to give my commentary about that. So I told you in my first episode, I want to talk about this guy right here, at least speak on this story. Lil Durk, who's a Chicago-based rapper, is facing serious charges, and these are federal charges. And apparently he still have ties to the streets in Chicago. I don't think he actually lives in Chicago. I believe he was down there in Florida or whatever, but I don't think he actually lives in Chicago. I don't think it would be safe for him to actually live out there. But apparently he still got ties to the streets out there. Lil Durk, he also was named in a wrongful death lawsuit from the estate of late rapper FBG Duck, and it's being held without bail. They look at him as a flight risk at a federal detention center in Miami. But the case happened that they arrested him about the shooting and the killing actually happened in Los Angeles, which is interesting. We're going to dive more into that in a little bit because all this stuff is allegedly was arranged. So he didn't get any type of bail. He's being held. The highly successful 32-year-old rapper, Chicago rapper, he could face some serious time. And with this type of charge, they say he could face the death penalty. And that's a fall from grace when you suddenly be locked up, when you used to living a life of lavishness. Sort of like P. Diddy, even though they got different type of charges, but both of them are still federal cases. And it's like a crash course. And that sometimes in life that we have to come crashing down. I'm not saying when people crash down, they should actually go to prison. But people can come crash down and fall into depression when it seems like your life is falling apart. But this guy, with this case right here, he could be facing the death penalty. So let's take a look at what he's been charged with. His arrest happened on October 24th, and it's a murder for hire charge. Several members of his supposed gang or alleged gang, well, they say that OTF is the name of his rap collectives. So all these people, I believe they saying this is for his label, or he's supposed to be managing these guys. But according to the feds, OTF is a gang, and OTF is an acronym for Only the Family. So associates were arrested Kayvon London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, and Asa Houston were hit with federal charges in California. They are facing more charges than Durk because these are the guys that allegedly went out there and actually committed this murder, including conspiracy to commit murder for hire, committing murder for hire involving a death, and use of a machine gun in a violent crime resulting in death. If you arrange the murder, it's just like you being there shooting the gun, pulling the trigger. Even though somebody else may actually go pull the trigger. But you, as the person that's arranging for all of this and paying for all of this, you just as guilty as the person that pulled the trigger. That's how they look at it in the eyes of the law. Prosecutors have alleged that Lil Durk ordered a hit on rival rapper. And this is because of what is reported as a murder, but I don't think that guy that actually killed King Von has got charged with murder. I'm going to have to look that up. I'm going to look that up. And you know, I like to keep it real on this podcast, and I'll look up information while I'm live on the air, while I'm live doing this. So I want to look this up. See, that guy even get charged because they're reporting this as a murder. The guy that killed King Von. Yep, look this up. King Von, because I want to know, did he actually get charged with murder? A guy named Timothy Leaks. Okay, it says on here that 22-year-old Timothy Leaks was charged with King Von's murder. So, custody connection with slaying and rapper King Von. So it said he was officially charged with that. King Von's alleged killer had his charges dropped. Okay, there's another report by complex.com that said the rapper, the guy that killed King Von, the charges were dropped. Like I thought, I didn't think he got charged. When it first happened, he probably got arrested. That's just protocol to go get the person who actually pulled the trigger. And this was an associate of Quando Rondo. So as the story goes, King Von heard that these guys were at a nightclub somewhere in Atlanta. So King Von, he went over to the club where they were at. And he went over there and started a fight with them. And the guy Timothy, who was off on the side somewhere, he noticed that his man was getting roughed up by this guy. He didn't even know it was King Von. But that's what happened that night, and gunfire erupted. Okay, the felony murder charge was dropped. He said this does not mean that Tim was found innocent or that he beat the case. Okay. So I'm not going to go too far into this right here, but I just wanted to see that did he get charged for King Von's murder. So all of this arrangement that happened in Los Angeles is supposed to be retaliation for King Von's death. And they had an ongoing rivalry between King Von and these other guys. Not Drake. Lil Durk, excuse me. But I'm not going to look too far into that. I just wanted to look it up really quick to see did he get a charge. But this what all this was about. This supposed to have been retaliation for the killing of King Von, who was a close associate to Lil Durk. The unsealed federal, which doesn't specifically name the rival rapper. states that he ordered 5 of his OTF associates to kill who made believe to be Quando Rondo. But instead of getting Quando Rondo, his cousin was killed instead. And that's one of these things about these so-called hitmen, it's sort of reckless what they're doing. They go get gang members to actually commit these crimes. These guys are not like professional hitmen. But Durk was accused of being the mastermind behind the plot. And he provided the money for all the ski masks, the rental cars, and hotel rooms. And all this stuff leaves a money trail. And which is interesting because Lil Durk, he should have known that somebody's watching. Somebody in the law enforcement is actually watching what's going on out there. They listen to the music, they listen to the lyrics, they listen to the slick dissing and all that stuff, and they know mentally and psychologically how gang members think and how they move. They literally have professionals study these things, and they definitely gonna look at your money trail. They know these guys back there in the hood. They ain't making money like that. But records from his cell phone show that he reportedly texted one of the associates that got arrested, and it said, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me." His credit cards are believed to have been linked to the flights booked for the defendants. And that's where they nail you at. See, that's when that stuff becomes federal. Then they say they claim that Durk booked a private jet to Italy after his associates were arrested. He was apprehended about an hour before the flight was scheduled to leave. I believe they say he booked 2 flights, but some lawyers say people do that just to get a reaction from the law enforcement and see if they really on their tail. But when he did that, he made himself a flight risk, and that's pretty much why they revoked his bond. And all this happened after those guys got arrested. Once people get arrested, it's like every man for themselves. But now his real name is Durk Banks, and he's being charged with 1 count of conspiracy. But as of now, they have added more charges to his case. And right now, he's been charged with 1 count of conspiracy, 1 count of use of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire, resulting in death, and 1 count of using, carrying, and discharging firearms, and a machine gun, and possession of such firearms in furtherance of a crime of violence, resulting in death, according to the U.S. Department of Justice, the DOJ. And one of the things they do in these cases is use your lyrics against you. So they will be using his lyrics against him whenever he comes to court or whenever he goes to trial. But the whole thing it stems from some friction with NBA YoungBoy, because Quando Rondo comes from like that NBA YoungBoy camp. And he can't be beefing with anybody right now because he got his own troubles. He's facing up to 10 years for that prescription case out there in Utah. They just raided him not too long ago, so I'm pretty sure he's not participating in these beefs. Not particularly right now. But then, with Lil Durk, it really goes back to a rapper called FBG Duck, who is another Chicago-based rapper, and they all from the same area. They may be from different neighborhoods, but they all from the same area. So there's already been 6 guys prosecuted for that murder, and these guys are known as the O Block 6, which is a Chicago gang neighborhood. The O Block is a nickname for something that got something to do with their gang. somebody got killed and they named the neighborhood or the block after that guy. So these people know each other. They went to school with each other, but FBG Ducks people who are actually suing Lil Durk for that murder. And they've been very complicit right from the beginning that Lil Durk had something to do with this. Like Lil Durk paid for it. At least that's what his family say, or his people say. And when I first heard of FBG Duck, that's when I got on to the King Von, and they were like FBG Duck. You know, what he did in his music, he really pushed the envelope of the drill music. And that's sort of how I started hearing about drill music. I didn't really know anything about that, you know. I'm an OG to all that type stuff, so I'm not checking. I stopped checking for like the latest hip hop songs like years ago, you know. Every now and then I may hear a record that I might like. You know, there's a couple of rappers out there I like. I really think the females are doing their thing right now. Like Megan Thee Stallion and Glorilla, Lil Rika is another rapper that's out there doing her thing. But the first time I got onto drill music when I started hearing about FBG Duck. You know, these guys be doing interviews and things of that nature. But FBG Duck, he really was pushing the envelope for dissing in his songs. And King Von was definitely taking shots at him. And people have been saying way back then during the FBG Duck situation that Lil Durk may catch an indictment on that. And people were shocked that he didn't get indicted on that particular murder. I guess it's not enough evidence or whatever the case may be. But with the feds, they try to pile on as many charges as possible. And I looked around and I see other rappers, they get caught up in these indictments like Young Thug, but his was a state case. But when you're talking to feds, they really be watching you. Lil Durk, he should have known. He should have known they be watching. And I'm not with the violence when it comes to this. I support like rap beefs, rap battles, like what's going on with Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Kendrick Lamar may even win some awards for that diss song. I think it really raised the bar in hip hop. And that was a classic record right there. And he's making money off of it, you know, from dissing. I'm all for that. But when you gotta commit drive-bys and order hits on people, I'm not so much with that, you know. I think a lot of people just make a lot of money. They get really bored with the money. They start playing chess with it. You know, it's a chess game. And many people say that the fans really egged Lil Durk into this because they kept telling him he should slide for Von, slide for Von, slide for Von. And sometimes when you're dealing with lower level people, you can get pulled to a lower level. That's a true statement. That is a very true statement. If you're supposed to be on a high level and you entertain the lower level type stuff, a lot of times you can get pulled into the lower level stuff. So no, I'm not with that. Getting in videos and like the law enforcement see what type of weapons you got because you're showing them on the video. Like they say, stop self-snitching. A lot of this stuff when you start dissing them and making these little subliminal disses, like these guys are not stupid. They understand hip hop music. It's been around forever. You know, a lot of these federal agents, they listen to rap music. Police officers, they listen to rap music. They listen to all that stuff. You know, especially if it's worldwide. They even come to your concerts. The CIA, they listen to hip hop music. They listen to rap music. I'm pretty sure. So They push the envelope with what they saying in their lyrics. They putting all kind of powerful type weapons in these videos. All that stuff, in my opinion, is sort of like self-snitching. I couldn't imagine that back in my days when I ran the streets and did my thing out there in the streets. We was carrying concealed weapons back then. Right now I have legitimate weapons. I do believe in the Second Amendment, so I do own weapons. But back then, we was concealing them, and these young people got powerful weapons these days, and they're in the music video with those weapons. Like I said, I like a good hip hop song, battle rap, whatever. Has been around since they created hip hop, the battle, coming out of New York City. But this drill music and smoking on dead people, I think that stuff is a little bit dangerous. But we live in a desensitized world where the young people are so desensitized, and you have people egging all this stuff on, trolling these people to commit these acts. Like they said, he kept saying, slap for Vine, slap for Vine. Excuse me, but what about the LBG Duck situation? I mean, he's being sued for that murder. That's insane. That is very insane. But it's going to be a while before his trial actually comes up. And with these federal cases, they don't be broadcast live. So they have somebody like drawing a picture of what's going on in the courtroom. This is a very deep charge, murder for hire. How are you going to explain this trail using bank statements, probably use bank statements, but following the money. And you supposedly pay for these airline tickets for these guys to go out there and commit that hit. And it's crazy. Like, how did y'all track them in LA? That's crazy. Big as LA is a big city. For you to fly some guys out there that really don't know Los Angeles, and they actually find this guy. But the word was that Lil Durk was going to pay for whoever do it. No doubt about it. He got all the money to do it. He got plenty of money to do it. But like I said, people, sometimes when you make money like that, you get bored with the money. You start playing chess with people. You really start playing with people's lives. And the original beef between NBA YoungBoy and these guys, it made some females may have something to do with that. May have. I have to look that up. But that's something I'm gonna have to look up, and maybe you all can live. What do y'all think? What do y'all think about this case with Lil Durk? You think he actually arranged this? It's the LG experience. Make sure y'all click that subscribe button and click that like button. But I wanted to get on here and speak about this as like I said, cover trending topics and what's going on out there in the world. So it's the LG experience. Make sure y'all catch me next time as I drop some heat rocks. Subscribe, click the like button, and peace and love.